Okay, so major therapeutic lifestyle changes. We have exercise, diet, time in nature, relationships. Here's a quote from Dean Ornish: "I'm not aware of any other factor in medicine," and then he runs through a list, "that has a greater impact on our quality of life, incidence of illness, and premature death from all causes." And that's a review, that's his book looking at lifestyle effects. And that was his conclusion from a pretty extensive review. And he's not alone. You look at the studies on, for example, Robert Cummins, who runs the Quality of Life Centre in Australia, as one of the most widely read articles in the last century on well-being. And his conclusion is that nothing compares with relationships for quality of well-being, including for psychiatric patients. Qualities of relationships are just extraordinarily important. And they affect a variety of mental health functions, including cognitive capacity and intelligence, surprisingly enough. And not surprisingly, this is being related to the new field of social neuroscience, the idea that our brains are actually built for relationship and interconnection, and that we affect each other in very subtle and pervasive ways, and that our brains basically cohere like tuning forks when we come together. How powerful are relationships? Well, consider the following. The Michelangelo effect, wonderful effect. Michelangelo effect refers to the way we sculpt one another. Not just emotionally, clearly there's emotional contagion and emotional transfer, but even physically. Couples over time, people over time come to actually look like one another as they share emotions over prolonged periods of time. They build up the same muscle tension patterns in their face, and studies show they actually become detectably more alike in appearance. So not only can your friends and colleagues affect how much you eat and how much you weigh, actually affect what you look like in your face. So bottom line is choose your friends with care, because you will become like and you will look like them. Okay, clinical implications. Obviously, we all know how crucial relationships are to psychotherapy. In fact, the quality of the relationship accounts in meta-analyses for about 30% of the variance, which is more than twice, or actually close to twice, the amount of the variance accountable for by the type of therapy. That is, the quality of the relationship with the patient is about twice as important as whether you do behavior therapy or psychoanalysis or cognitive therapy on them. Okay, it's just crucial. And the need for attention to relationships seems to be becoming more and more important, because there is considerable evidence that as a function of technology, initially with television and now with the internet, people are spending less time together. The average person has fewer number of close friends and confidants, and social capital, which is the sum total of benefits that accrue from social relationships, is decreasing, producing significant individual and public health costs. So this is becoming an increasingly important area for not only individuals, not only for patients, but for our society as a whole.